And the biggest mistake, or one of the biggest mistakes you guys can make, is telling the customer what it costs to have it instead of telling them what it costs if they don't have it. I never answer a cost question with cost.
We the 3%ers. Yeah. We the 3%ers. Yeah. You gotta know what your word. Don't need more than just words. We don't just talk it, we live it. You want it, go get it, then put in that word. We're the three.
Hoorah, 3%ers. Welcome to another episode of 3% Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Steve Wilmer, author, speaker, United States Marine. Most importantly, your number one sales coach in the insurance industry. Listen, this is not a therapy session. Get to work or get off my podcast. It's for 3%ers, people that are ready to go to work. So listen, before we start today, I got a really good episode for you guys today. But before we start, I want to give a shout out to an agency on the West Coast. I want to recognize the Alan Sarafian agency. They're doing big things out on the West Coast in California. They are the number one and number two line leader with their company. Especially, I want to talk about two specific team members. The first one, shout out to Avo. Last year, and he's still on track this year, but last year, Avo wrote 275 life apps, guys, with $233,000 in life premium. I also want to give a shout out to Nick. Nick just went through our life insurance and health insurance boot camp. Been working with Avo and Nick for about a year and a half now. And last year, guys, to give you an example, Nick wrote 264 health apps, almost $80,000 in health premium. So congratulations, Avo. Congratulations, Nick. And still working with you guys. I know you're on track to do even better this year. So today's episode is going to be about 3 sales skills that separate the 3% from average. 3 sales skills that if you don't have these sales skills, it's probably a reason why you're not hitting the same numbers like Avo and Nick. So grab something to write with. Let's take some notes. Let's get into it. Let's talk about sales skills number 1. Stop selling features and start selling consequences. Stop selling features, start selling consequences. I can't tell you how many times I'm on a training call with team members, and that's what they do. They'll sell the feature. They talk about this policy. They talk about the product. They talk about what the policy does. They talk about what the product does. They talk about the discounts that they receive. All they do is talk about features. That is not how you go from being average to being in the top 3%. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is believing that their customer is there to buy a product. Your customer does not want your product. You know this as well as I do, because when you start mentioning products, they start giving you all those objections, right? So what is it that customers want? They want their problem solved. So they don't buy because of a product. They buy because of what the product can do for them. Here's the things they buy. Write these things down. They buy certainty. They buy peace of mind. They buy convenience. They buy security, and they buy confidence. Those are not features of a product. Those are the things that make a customer feel something. They can make a customer feel good. They can make a customer feel bad. They buy certainty. I am certain, to give an example, I'm certain that if God took me away from this earth tomorrow or today, I am 100% certain my wife is going to have enough money to pay off our mortgage. She's going to have enough money to send our kids to college. She's going to have enough money where she never has to struggle to pay another bill again. I'm certain of that. That gives me peace of mind. It's also convenient. I don't have to try to figure it out. My agent, John Keziah, is going to figure it out. John's already got it figured out. That's the whole point of having insurance, guys. It's transferring that risk, if you will, right? I don't want to take that risk on. So I give that risk to John Keziah's agency. I say, hey man, something happens to me. I need you to make sure all these things are taken care of. John's like, yep, I got it. You pay this premium every single month. You're no longer here, Steve. Me and my team are going to make sure your family has everything that you want them to have. You know what, John? I will pay for that. I will gladly give you my money every single month, John, if you can do that for my family. When you guys are out there speaking with your customers and your prospects, that's what you've got to be selling. You've got to be selling that. Now, here's something else. You've also got to be selling the consequence. So I told you what John was going to do for my family, but here's the consequence. If you don't pay this premium every single month, then what's going to happen? Man, your wife could end up losing the house. Your kids may not be able to go to college, or if they do go to college, then they're going to end up graduating with a bunch of student loan debt like so many kids out there. Your family's going to struggle to pay the bills from month to month. Is that what you want? No, it's not what I want. Well, I'll tell you what, transfer that risk over here. Pay that premium every single month. You see, a lot of times, customers or prospects are always asking, what does it cost to have it? And the biggest mistake, or one of the biggest mistakes you guys can make, is telling the customer what it costs to have it instead of telling them what it costs if they don't have it. I never answer a cost question with cost. I never answer a price question with price. You always answer a cost question or a price question with value. Hey, what does it cost to have this? Well, that's a great question. What does it cost your family if you don't? It could end up costing them every single thing you work so hard for. It could end up costing them the house. It could end up costing them an education. But what's the price? You know what? That's a great question. And I understand you're trying to figure out if this is something that you can, budget. I totally get that. But what's the price if you don't? I mean, the price could be so high they could lose every single thing you worked so hard for. So again, stop answering price questions with price. Start answering with value. No one wakes up in the morning thinking about life insurance or wanting to buy life insurance. They wake up wanting to know that their families will be better off if they're not here tomorrow. Same thing with disability insurance. Nobody buys disability insurance because of the features. They buy disability insurance because they want to continue to receive a paycheck. You see, you and I and most people that you know realize somebody said that money makes the world go around. Now, I'm not going to get into a spiritual debate with you. We're talking about here today, money makes the world go around. For those of you who are watching this, I got lights on right now in my studio. Got to pay for those lights. FPL doesn't care that I got a podcast and I'm out here trying to help people. They don't care. They want their money every single month. Your mortgage company wants their money every single month. Your landlord wants their money every single month. Come on, let's make it real. Whatever company you work for, they want their money every single month. If you work for State Farm, they're going to want their money next month. If you work for Allstate, they're going to want their money next month. If you work for an independent company, they're going to want their money next month. Farmers, Farm Bureau, it does not matter. People want to make sure that if I become sick or hurt and can't work, my bills are still going to be paid. So that's what I'm talking about going from an average salesperson to being in the top 3%. Stop talking about features and let's start talking about the problem that you can solve for the customer. And let's start talking about some of those consequences that you can take off the plate from your customers. Average salespeople talk about features. The policy has this. It includes this. You qualify for this. You get a discount if you have this. Top 3%ers, again, we talk about the consequences. I want you to start focusing on that. What is the consequence of someone not doing business with you? The next time you're speaking with a prospect or a customer, those are the things you should be asking them. Those are the things that should be in your mind. What's the consequence of not doing business? How did Avvo write over 200, what was the number? Over 275 life apps last year. I know because we've been training him for the last year and a half. He ain't talking about products and policies. He's talking about the consequences of not having it. How did Nick write $80,000 in health premium? I promise you, it wasn't because he was talking about features. He was talking about the consequences of not having it, how much money it was going to cost out of their pocket, some of the struggles the family were going to have to go through. So let's make sure we're talking about those. Stop being in a hurry. As salespeople, we're often in such of a hurry to present the answer that we never make the problem big enough. This morning, I got a text in our group text chat from a team member that said that, Steve, how do I get past this? The customer is in a hurry, so it makes me get in a hurry. And when I get in a hurry, I end up missing all the things I should be speaking to the customer about. So how do I keep the customer from rushing me? And here was my response. I slow the conversation down and I start asking the right questions to make the customer see how important this is. So when a customer tries to rush me, just email it over to me. I'm really busy. I don't have a lot of time. How much does it cost? I do not get into a cost conversation. I do not let the customer rush me. Here are the words that I use with a customer that you should start using with your customer. You know what, Bob? That's a huge mistake. If I just email you a quote, Bob, I'm telling you right now, that's a huge mistake. It's a mistake that most people make. Because here's the key, Bob. If I just rush this, I send you over something, you may think it looked good because of the price. But I'm telling you right now, if you get into a car wreck and somebody is suing you, you're not going to be thinking about that $30 a month that you saved. If you die, your wife is not going to be thinking about the $30 a month or the $50 a month that you saved. They're going to want their problem solved. They're going to want to make sure, if it's life insurance, right? They're going to want to make sure they still have a roof over their head. If it's auto insurance, you're going to want to make sure that the money coming out of our pocket and is not coming out of your pocket. Am I right or am I wrong? Remember, that's that buy-in question. Ask the customer, am I right or am I wrong? Am I telling the truth or am I lying? You got to start adding these type of questions. So when's the least hectic day? When's the least hectic time that you and I can spend 15 to 20 minutes on the phone? That you and I can spend 15 to 20 minutes or 30 minutes face to face to make sure that you have the right coverage, to make sure that you have exactly what you want for your family. So slow the customer down, use those words. Rushing this is a huge mistake. Rushing this would be a big mistake. And then give them, because people think in pictures, then paint that picture. Because if someone hits you, you're going to want me to pay for everything. Am I right or am I wrong? You know what the answer is going to be. If you get into a car wreck, you want that money to come out of my pocket and not your pocket. Am I right or am I wrong? Start asking those type of questions. So don't be in a hurry. You got to make sure that you are figuring out what the problem is and then making the diagnosis before you start talking about the medicine, if you will. Stop talking about the coverage, if you will. Like when you go to the doctor's office. I want you to imagine going to a doctor's office and you walk in and the first thing that a doctor says to you is, here, thanks for coming in today, Steve. Take these pills. You'd be like, whoa, you haven't even asked me any questions. You don't even know what's wrong with me. Well, why is it that in the insurance industry, average salespeople do the exact same thing? They recommend coverage and they have no idea what they're covering. And again, I know it goes back because here's what I hear team members say. Well, the customer's in a rush. The customer's in a rush. They want it real quick. I've already addressed that, how you deal with that. If you were in a rush, if you had a doctor's appointment and you went into the doctor's office and said, hey, doc, I don't have time to talk about what's wrong with me. I just need some pills. There is no way the doctor is just going to give you pills. There is no way that they're going to do that. Why are you not giving the same type of example to your customers? I use it all the time. If the doctor just gave you pills without asking you any questions, without diagnosing what the true problem was, that would be considered malpractice and they could end up losing their license. That could cause serious damage. It could even kill some people. Here at Wilmer Financial, I take the exact same approach, Mr. Customer. For me just to give you a product, for me just to give you a coverage, to recommend something, and I have no idea what the problem that I'm trying to solve is, that's malpractice. I could end up losing my license. I could end up hurting your family more than helping your family. And that's not what we do here. So again, when is the least hectic day that you and I could spend 15 minutes to make sure that what I'm going to recommend to you is exactly what you need, is exactly what's going to be the best thing for you? Because again, if you get into a car wreck and you go right back to it, you want me to pay for everything. Am I right or wrong? Yeah. If you were to die tomorrow, you want me to make sure the house is completely paid off. Am I right or wrong? If you became sick or hurt and you couldn't work, you want me to send you a check every single month to pay your bills. If I'm lying, tell me I'm lying. Stop talking about products. Stop talking about features. Let's make sure we diagnose, figure out what the issue is, then we make the recommendation. So here's what I want you guys to do for this week. For every feature that you normally talk about, and you know you do, I want you to ask yourself, what consequence does this feature protect against? And then I want you to start focusing on that instead. You understand what I mean? So in other words, if you're trying to sell life insurance and you've been talking about the life insurance policy, we got term insurance, we got whole life insurance, we got universal life insurance, we got a returner premium insurance, we got a 10-pay, we got if that's how you've been, in this one, and it's only $20 a month, it's only if that's how you've been selling insurance, I want you to think about the consequence. All right? Don't sell the feature. Think about the consequence of not having it. And that's what I want you to focus on. Let's talk about skill number 2 that people like Avo and Nick possess. They control, listen to this. This is a good one. They control the conversation without controlling the customer. You got to catch this. Control the conversation. You do not control the customer. No one wants to feel like they're being controlled. All right? So, whoever asks the questions, that's the one that's in control of the conversation. You know my background. You may not know my background. So I spent 10 years in law enforcement. And here's something I learned way back then, and I use it today in sales. The person asking the questions, that's the one that's in charge. So let's make sure that you're the one that's asking the question. Now listen, that doesn't mean that you're manipulative. It means you're leading. We all, including myself, I want to be led. I do. But I want to be led by someone who I consider to be the expert in any area that I'm trying to have success in. I don't want to be out there trying to figure it out on my own if I don't know what I'm doing. Lead me. Teach me. I'm not an Alabama fan, okay? but I do respect Nick Saban, even though he's retired. I did respect Nick Saban and his leadership styles. And here's some of the things that he would always say. And this is really good for the agents out there that have team members working for them. Nick Saban said this once, and I was like, oh my goodness, that is so true. Not just in football, but I see it in our insurance industry. And Nick Saban said this about his team. He said, good players want to be coached. Average players want to be left alone. I'm going to let that resonate. For my editors, don't cut out that silence. Don't cut out that break, because I want the people thinking about that. I'm going to say it again. Good players, they want to be coached. They want to be led. They want to be challenged. They want to be taught. Average players want to be left alone. I was speaking with an agent last week. Yeah, just last week. We have a life insurance boot camp that's coming up in August. And I was talking with the agent, and I said, hey, we got a boot camp that's coming up in August. And you told me to reach back out to you, and I'm just trying to see if there's somebody that you want to be able to put, in that boot camp. And he responded, well, let me ask them. And I'm like, okay, sure, you can ask them. But here's what I know. Good players, good team members, the one who want to become better, they want to be coached. They want to be challenged. Average players, they want to be left alone. Do you want to go to the life boot camp? Nah, I'm good. Yeah, but your numbers are not where they need to be. Yeah, it's okay. I'm all right. That tells you right there what type of people that you have. Allen, he didn't get to be number one in the largest PNC company in the nation. He didn't get to be number one by having average team members. They want to be coached. They want to be challenged. They want to be trained. It's 2026, and he was like number one last year. And when January came around and this year, he says, all right, I want to hire you for a whole nother year. And I said to him, bro, what else can I do? You're number one. I can't make you number half one. I said, what else can I do? And he says, no, I want you training my team again. They want to be trained. They want to be challenged. They want to become better. So I'm just saying, it lets you know what type of people you have working for you when they don't want to be trained and they don't want to be challenged. All right. So let's kind of dive through this, right? Asking questions. Lead the conversation. Here's the reason why. We know that customers jump from topic to topic. They're all over the place. We even hate meeting with some of those customers. You meet with somebody on your docket, like we're in the jury, right? On your calendar, and you see their name, like, oh my God, this is going to be a long conversation. You got to learn how to lead that conversation. They jump from everything, claims, vacation, football. 30 minutes later, you ain't talked about nothing. You haven't sold anything. You haven't solved any problems. Professional salespeople have a roadmap. You've got to develop a roadmap. Now, I wrote down some things. Not every conversation goes this way, but I wrote down some things that I consider to be my roadmap. Number one, the first thing I do is I want to build rapport with the customer as quickly as I can. And you can do that from a number of different reasons. Talk about something that's going on in the public. You can ask questions like, tell me something good that's going on great in your world. I always let customers know what's going on good in my world. So something real quick to build rapport before I dive right into insurance sales. And then I want to find out about the customer's current situation. Whatever the reason that they're in the office, whatever the reason I may be speaking with them on the phone, I want to find out what their situation is. I want to find out about them, their loved one, what's important to them. We do this through asking the right questions. Once I do that, I want to identify the problems. Oh, I have a nice house. Grill. Do you own the house or do you have a mortgage on it? I have a mortgage on the house. Okay, best guess. What do you owe on the mortgage? Oh, I owe $400,000 on the mortgage. The reason I'm asking about your mortgage is because most people tell me if they were to pass away, if they were to die in a car wreck or something, they want to make sure the mortgage is completely paid off. The last thing they want is the bank to come in and foreclose on the house and end up putting their family out on the streets. That's what everybody says to me. But again, this is your family. Would that be important to you? Well, of course that would be important to me. Oh, good. So do you currently have $400,000 set aside now to pay off the mortgage? You don't. Well, if you don't have the $400,000, then where's that money going to come from? Who's going to give your family the money to pay off the house? You don't know? What if I did that? Like, what if I gave your family, let's say $1 million, $400,000 to pay the house off, another couple of $100,000 to send the kids to college, and then extra money to make sure they can pay the bills? You tell me, would that be important to you? So you identify the problem. I expand the emotional impact. Why do I do emotional impact? Because 82% of people buy things based on how they feel, not logic. I present the solution, which is what I did, right? What if I paid off the house? See, notice in my conversation, I'm not talking about products and policies and features. What if I paid off the house? What if I sent the kids to college? What if I gave them the $200,000? What if I made sure they never had to struggle to make another mortgage payment or pay a bill? Tell me, would that be important to you? Would that be a good thing to do or a smart thing to do? And then I ask for the sale. This is the key. I ask for the sale. Once I get the yes, I get the bobblehead, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that would be important. Then I ask for the sale. Great. How do you want to pay for this, monthly or yearly? How do you want to pay for this, monthly or yearly? That's my closing question. So again, build rapport, discover the customer situation, identify the problem. I expand with emotional impact. I help them prioritize what's important to you. I prevent the solution. What if I paid for it? Would that be a smart thing to do? And then I ask for the sale. How do you want to pay for it? Every question that I ask, guys, it has a purpose. And if a question doesn't move the conversation forward, don't ask it. Don't just ask questions just to be asking questions. It's got to move the conversation forward. Now, not on this episode, I really should be talking to you guys about policy questions versus personal questions, but I'm not going to have time to do it today. But I will make a note. I got you. Calm down. I got you. We're going to talk about policy questions versus personal questions. Personal questions move the conversation forward. Policy questions do not. Policy questions only give information. Don't mean it's a bad thing. They just don't move the conversation forward. All right. Customers actually appreciate leadership. So think about it. When you fly on a plane, imagine getting on the plane and you know how the captain comes over, because I fly all over the place. And every time the captain comes on, here's what we got. Here's where we're going to fly. Here's the flight plan. Here's how long it's going to take to be able to get there. There's some turbulence. I'm going to suspend the drinks. I'm going to suspend do this. I'm going to put your seatbelt. He is leading us. And I appreciate that. If I got on a plane and the captain was like, guys, I'm not really sure where we're going to go. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try to figure this out. I'm not really sure. I'm like, man, I'm finna get the hell out of this plane. This dude don't know what's going on. I don't feel like he's trying to control me when he's leading me. I feel, again, like I said earlier, I want to be led by the expert. So when you're meeting with a customer, lead them. Sometimes, this is a perfect example. Some of you out there thinking they don't want to be led. They just want a quick quote and they want to get off the phone. They don't want to talk about it. You're not leading them. They're like teenagers. They don't know. I got 4 kids, 25, 23. The boys are 25, 23. The girls are 19 and 17. Do you really think that they always want to be led? No. But I still lead them because I know what's best for them, right? Especially when it comes to something that I've already been through. I can see that roadblock down the road. I can see that issue. I can see that problem down the road because it's something that my wife and I have dealt with. They don't want to be led, but because I'm the leader, I still lead them. I'm dad. I'm the father. I still lead them. Your doctor, he or she is the expert. You don't want to hear what they say. Stop eating salt. You don't tell me what to do. I love myself. Stop eating this. Got to exercise. They lead you. And it doesn't feel good, but you know it's good for you. You've got to have the same mindset when it comes to your customers. People want to be led by an expert. I can remember one time, this really aggravated the heck out of me. I hired a guy to build a fence, right? I said, hey, I got a front yard. I want to build a fence. He comes and he's like, well, what type of fence do you want? I said, like a picket fence. Well, how high do you want it? I said, I don't know, like 6 feet. He's like, well, you can't have 6 feet. In the state of Florida in the front, you can only have 4 feet. I'm like, oh, okay, then fine. So why would you ask me how high I want it? You should have told me that. Then he says, do you want to use nails or screws? I'm like, I don't know, nails? He's like, well, I think you should use screws because nails are, I'm like, bro, then why did you just say that? Right? Lead me. If I could build a fence, I wouldn't call you. What type of wood do you want to use? I don't know, wood. I mean, like, what? He said, well, if I were you, I would use. I'm like, bro, you know what? Just forget it. Lead me. If you're the leader and you're the expert, tell me as the expert what your recommendation is. Then tell me why. Lead your customers, guys. Let's dive into skill set number 3. This is probably one of the most important skill sets And most team members cannot get this through their head. Skill set number 3, write this down. Silence is golden. Woo. Silence is golden. This costs salespeople thousands of dollars every single year. Why? You're talking yourself out of a sale. Shut up. You are talking yourself out of a sale. You ask for the sale, the customer gets quiet. What do? Oh, you go into panic mode. Oh my God, they're quiet. Why they quiet? I gotta say something. This is so awkward. Hey, the awkward silence, it's okay. It's a good thing. Stop talking yourself out of a sale. You start talking, you lower the price, you start giving more information, and the information is always features. There you go again, talking about features, talking about products, talking about why it's important to have this. You're not being quiet. You're not asking enough questions. You starting to like justify the price, and you start to reason with the customers instead of just being quiet. Just be quiet. Think about this. Especially if you're talking about something that's extremely important to the customer. How many times has someone asked you a very powerful question, a personal question, an important question, and you didn't even think about it? You always think about it. If you ask me a very important question, if you ask me a very powerful question, a question that is going to affect my life and my family's life, I'm like, man, that's a good question. I'm going to think about the response. Why would you think your customer would be any different? So why are you jumping in to avoid that awkward silence? Remember this, the first person who talks loses. Silence makes average salespeople uncomfortable. But silence is where decisions are made. The 3%, we okay with the awkward silence. So customers deserve that same space. If someone asks you a very important question, you're going to think about it. I want you to start giving your customers that same space. Remember the acronym WAIT, W-A-I-T. Why am I talking? I want you to ask a question and then listen. Ask another question, then listen. Let the customer ponder 2 things. Let them ponder the question, and even more importantly, let them ponder the consequences of them not moving forward. Ask for the business, then be quiet. Count to 5 if you have to. We've all did this before, right? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. Not out loud, knucklehead, on the inside, all right? But let's make sure that you're counting if you have an issue with being quiet. I'm a talker. So when I had to learn this in my mind, I just want to talk. So in my mind, I had to literally say to myself, self-talk, shut up, shut up, shut up. Don't say, nope, you can't be the first one to say something. You got to do it. And then they would answer the question. So again, maintain eye contact, right? You're not looking all around. If I ask you a question, just kind of maintain eye contact. Don't make it weird. That's not it. But you don't want to look off. You got to be confident when you're asking those questions. Let them process the question. Let them process the consequences. I've seen customers come back, and ones that really process it, they think about it and say, you know what, you're right. I do want this for my family, or I don't want that for my family. And then the sale moves forward. So silence communicates confidence. Talking communicates nervousness. Confidence is quiet, guys, but desperation keeps trying to explain. Silence is golden. All right, let's recap what we spoke about today. Number 1, stop selling features, start selling consequences. Number 2, control the conversation without controlling the customer. I want you to lead with questions And number 3, I want you to master silence. Your next sale might come from the words that you choose not to say. Now, gotta have a challenge. Guys, I know I get a lot of compliments on the podcast, helping you out, but you gotta take this one step at a time. We went over 3 specific sales skills today. We've got team members that have mastered all 3. I don't want you to try to master all 3 this week, but I do want you to pick one. I want you to pick at least one, and I want you to go, and that's what I want you to work on. Try to remember all 3, but which one are you going to master today, this week? Again, this ain't no therapy session. Get to work, right? We got work to do there. All right, 3%ers, that has been your mindset shift for the week. Until next week, hoorah.
3%ers, yeah. We're the 3%ers, yeah. You gotta know what your words. Don't need more than just words. We don't just talk and we live it. You want it, go get it and put in that word.